What's up, everybody? Welcome back to HOA MMA. AJ, how the hell are you, my guy?
I'm in good, bro. I know last week felt like shit. I probably
Yeah,
sound like shit. I probably even looked like shit. But I'm all good now. 100% healthy. Just
might
yeah,
that might have been the palest I've ever seen you. A lot
for
of
real.
white showing through. A lot of white showing through last week.
To be fair, like I feel like in another world, me and you could have been like cousins or some shit. That was how fucking power I was, bro.
Good.
Unbelievable.
Glad to hear you're doing better. Hey, man, your guy really put on a show this past weekend. Well, both your guys really fought well. I mean, it's just Holloway just seems to be on a different level at this point in his career. Let's dive into UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Allen. Let's just start at the top. Max Holloway gets it done goes the distance against Allen. What are your initial thoughts on the fight?
Great fight. Like it was like everything I knew you could like hope for. You pretty much got in that fight. Um, Max is clearly Max. All the talk about obviously Max being washed, literally just throw that aside, like because
Yeah.
boy, Max is still Max, and Max can go. Like once he gets going, he can really go. And Arnold Allen has proven that he was on a 10-fight streak for a reason. Like he's clearly top five. Like he's clearly amongst the elite of the elite in that class. But it just so happens that night he ran into a special guy. Like so, and it showed. But it was a great fight all around. Very very close fight. But
Yeah,
obviously Max is a special bro. Max is
yeah. I
also a
mean,
very, very special guy.
we're talking about, if not the best fighter at that division, top three. And if you said he was two, it would be hard to argue. I mean, he's just that great. Arnold Allen, literally, you lose nothing by losing to Max Holloway in that kind of
Exactly.
fight. I thought Max, just his production, his output, and his accuracy is just so much different than other guys in this division that when he starts to pour it on, it just feels like you can't get a breath of air. Like he suffocates you with his pressure and with his output. I thought Arnold Allen did a good job. Uh, I just think that overwhelming amount of output just got to him late. Um,
Yeah.
we saw Arnold, and I really appreciate it. He went all out in that fifth round. I mean, he was
Oh,
looking. He
he,
caught Max, but then Max caught him right back, and that's what I love about Max. It doesn't matter if he's got the fight in the bag. If it's in the fifth round, he'll stand there and he will bang with you, and I appreciate that from him. And it's done really well for his career. Um, I mean, when you've only lost to guys like Dustin Poirier and Volkanovski, I mean, you're special, and those are the only two guys he's lost to in those type of firefight situations, and he still didn't hit the ground. I mean, but Arnold Allen, like you said, definitely belongs, definitely is in the conversation going forward. Um, for a guy who's what 29, he's got
he's
a
still got
lot of time. He's got a lot of time left. Um, you know, I just hope he can stay healthy because we know he has hand injuries, and we know that's kind of plagued him a little bit and kind of derailed him a smidge. I want to see him stay healthy, maybe string a couple more fights together, and then you're right back in contention. I mean, like you said, he's a top five fighter in the division. There are fights out there right now that can keep you right there in that title hunt. And I think we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll mention where Max goes next and where Arnold goes next. But props to those guys. They put on a really nice main event. And shout out to Max Holloway just being just an all-time great. I wanted to ask you about this next guy, Edison Barbosa. Oh my God. Like when you think of dangerous people, he should come to your mind. That guy is so dangerous.
He still got it, man. That old man still got it because that knee came out of nowhere, but that was
Oh my
perfect
God.
placed. Put him out.
Oh boy.
Put him out.
And I want to say Billy Q's a good fighter. I mean, I just that kind of shot just puts down anybody, and he just got put down. Edson Barbosa, another highlight reel knockout. one of the better KO artists that we've had in the UFC in a long time. Um,
Sure.
do you think it's too late for Barbosa to make a push for maybe to get back into the contention?
At featherweight, I would say it's a bit too late because there's so many good people. Like if you look like within the top 10, okay, so
Yeah.
you obviously got Volk and you've got Volk, Yair, Max, Allen, Ortega. That's 5 guys already. And then below them, you've got the likes of Ilya, who is an absolute monster. You've
Hmm.
got Evaluev. You've got Bryce Mitchell, who we saw when he fought Edson last year, literally just drowned him,
Yeah, that was right.
drowned him out. You've got up and coming guys now, so you've got people like Laurent Murphy, Nathaniel Wood, Jack Shaw now, who's obviously moved up to 145. You've got just listen of that, you've got maybe 10 guys, right? And 145 within the top 10, top 15 is a pretty deep.
Yes, I agree. But what? Okay, so let me throw a name out here, a fight that I think is interesting.
I forgot one guy, our guy who's still missing, Giga.
That's what I was going to ask you. Would you be interested in Barboza versus Chikadis as his return fight?
Only because we saw that fight a couple of years ago and Giga just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I know. But that's a good way to bring him back.
Nah,
you think you beat him up again?
Yeah, because obviously Giga's in his late 20s, early 30s. He's kind of like at the peak of his powers. I mean,
yeah.
Apart from the whole like Calvin KO when he just got beat up on, he's still a really good striker. Like he was still putting people away, and he did beat up Barboza very, very badly. I feel like a fun fact for him, which is funny because of the topic we're going to talk later on, would probably be against the Zombie. That fight could be a really, really
It's got name value for sure.
Exactly, and it's like an older guy as well, so it could obviously make a little bit of sense.
I definitely like that idea. I think take some time off, Billy. Get back out there. No shame in catching a crazy knockout from Edson Barboza. He's been doing it for decades now. Next fight, the big Russian. Maybe he's not Russian, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mirzakhanov versus Jacoby. If you look at just the numbers, it looks closer than it really felt while you were watching it. But Mirza was just so accurate with his punches, and every punch he threw was damaging. I never felt like, until like the very end when it felt like he was a little bit more gassed than Jacoby was, I never felt like the fight was in danger. He had a little bit less output, but he was a lot more accurate with his strikes. To me, I thought he did a great job against Jacoby, and he never felt like he was in danger, to my knowledge. He did mention after the fight he broke his arm/wrist. I mean, to me, it looked like he broke it on hitting Jacoby in the face. He was touching him when he wanted to, and he was touching him with good shots. What did you think about that fight?
I was impressed, but I wasn't blown away just because of the fact, like, when he got gassed, he looked really, really terrible. And considering he kind of got more gassed in round 2, to me, that's kind of like worrying. So I'm going to be a bit concerned once he does move up in comp and he fights against people who are going to like offer a lot more offense back. I'm going to be a bit more concerned because, if he kind of pulls it on early and it's looking good, but the person doesn't get put like away against someone who's a lot better, they could probably take advantage of that. Again, like you said, he looked good on the feet. When he was, in the first round, he was tagging him, looking clean, very slick.
Yeah.
But again, it's just one of those ones where like he probably has to work on his on just pace himself a little, just like a little bit more, because again, as he moves up, he may get caught out. But again, it was a good win either way.
And he was able to drop Jacoby in both the first and the second round. But like you said, when you step up in competition, they know your weaknesses. They know that you can't. That third round, people are going to come after you a lot harder than Jacoby was able to. He's a solid fighter, but he just didn't have enough to really put him away. Next match we had was the Hulk versus Bozer. I just want to say Hulk smash. Man, that guy hits hard.
It was such an important win for him as well. Like it kind of felt like if he lost, he was probably going to get cut.
And it was so one-sided too. I mean, he threw 40 punches and he hit 30 of them, and they were 27 were to the head. It was just he was headhunting Bozer so hard, and he just has that power. Very impressed. I mean, Bozer's not fantastic, but a win is a win in the UFC. You know, there's not really an easy night out for anybody at this point. So good. Congrats to the Hulk. Good to see him get back out there and get a win. And then I thought this. What? Go ahead.
I kind of think on Tanner's part, he should be a bit worried because he used to fight up at heavyweight, and the fact that like he's gone down and he got ran through like that, I'll be a little bit concerned because if you used to fight against bigger dudes who hit a lot harder and you're moving down the weight and you're getting ran through like that, I'll be a little bit concerned.
Yeah, I just didn't. I would say one more loss, and he could be looking at
somewhere else.
He could be looking at a contract elsewhere, which is unfortunate, but that's just the business we're in. Next fight, I thought a lot of congrats to Munoz, who beat Gutierrez by unanimous decision. You know, he looked really good. I got to give it to him. He was able to drop him in the first, touched him on the chin. He had a lot of control time. What did you think? Because I thought Munoz fought a really good fight. Maybe Gutierrez didn't have all of his tools working, but you got to give Munoz some credit for stopping what Gutierrez does best.
It's kind of just like this whole year, man. Like every single veteran, when there's someone who's been like a original like ranked guy, when someone's coming up who's trying to like take their spot, they're saying not today. And it was just another one of those shows. Like it was a very much a vet savvy performance. Like we know with Basic Pena, he's tough, he's well rounded everywhere, and he used all of his tools. And he was first, like every single time whenever they were engaging, Pedro was first. He was in there. He was in his face, going first. He was utilizing every skill set he had, and honestly, just props to him. And I think on the flip side, Chris G, he just needs to go back, work on a few things, and then try again, because I can't lie. If you want to break into the top 10 this year, you're really gonna have to like put like a really good show, because all these vets are saying to everyone, nah.
And you know what? I appreciate that, because a lot of these guys end up, like we say, we use the term gatekeeper. A lot of these guys get put out to be a gatekeeper, and a lot of these guys are saying, no, I've still got a shot. I can still make another run. And like you said all year, shout out to the vets in these big fights. They are maintaining and they are not giving up their spots. Good win for Munoz. He's doing himself. He's going to have another big fight coming up. I think anytime he fights, it's much watched TV. He's just a hell of a fighter, and he got it done again.
He's a game changer.
Oh yeah, he's going to show up and he's going to give you everything he's got. We're going to skip over Clay Guida. That guy sucks. I just think we've seen it long enough. It's that fake retirement was so dumb. You saw Dana's interview; he was pissed about it. We just don't like. Here's the thing: is he kind of a fan favorite still? Sure. Does anybody give a shit really if Clay Guida's on your card? Probably not.
Unless you're been a fan of MMA since like 2006, maybe.
Yeah, I understand. The guy's got 20 career losses. I think it's just time. Go be a coach. Go do something. The fake retirement, I think Dana should just put him in there with a killer and just let him get knocked out.
Man, come on, man.
That
Okay.
fake retirement was terrible. It was terrible. It might have ruined the show.
Bro, come on, man. At the end of the day, we are not going to advocate people getting CTE just because
because of fake retirement.
We're not going to advocate getting bloody brain damage because you want to. What is he fight at? 155.
Oh man,
who do you want to put him against? Like Dustin or Rafael Fiziev or someone?
Can Whitaker make 155? Just
bro, come on.
No, I'm having a little fun here at Clay's expense. Let's get into a fight we both thought should have been in place of the Guida fight. Brandon Royval versus Nicolo. That is a win, man. That is a very, very impressive win for Royval. Talk to me about the win because that was very important for him.
I know I said last week that's a case of can Royval grapple Nicolau and avoid like Nicolao's like counter striking. Little did I fucking know that Royval will hit the most quickest counter knee I've ever seen. Like it put him out. Like that knee came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, one knee, one more shot, and Nicolau was out.
Yeah, it was over.
Very, very impressive win. Very impressive win. That's
huge for Royval. What did you think about him just going out and saying, "Hey, I'm the backup fighter," right away? Why are you? Why? My question is, why are you not saying I'm the next title contender? Like, why I'm the next title fighter? Why are you saying you're going to go be a backup? No, I want the next shot. I want the winner. I thought that was a really weird way to go about saying you're the number one contender, in my opinion.
I kind of blame Colby Covington for this because I think everyone thinks because obviously Colby was the backup fighter in London, and obviously
that just doesn't work for everybody.
Exactly, and Dana's come out and said he's obviously the next guy. People saying, "Well, I'm gonna be the backup fighter. I'm gonna be backup fighter." Whereas thinking, okay, if I'm the backup fighter, I'm gonna make weight. Because you think about it this way, Anthony Smith was obviously the backup fighter in January, right? He's not fighting next for the belt. He's fighting against Johnny Walker next. So they need to I know.
Go. It's okay.
But people need to understand, like, that doesn't work for like everyone, and especially when you look at 125, he's probably a fight away because you've got Manuel Cap against Figgy soon, and then you've got Amir Albazi against Kai Kara France as well, and even though right now Royval's ranked 4th, so he's more than in his right to justify saying I'm next for a title shot. But you would just think if obviously let's say right now Manuel Cap beats obviously like Figgy, who's obviously ranked number 1, he's gonna say I'm next in line for the title shot.
Yes.
Regardless, and you know, Kai Kara France obviously fought against Moreno for the interim belt, who also beat who Royval did beat, but obviously we've seen Kai go on an absolute tear since. If obviously Amir beats Kai, he's gonna say, well, I'm more than deserving as well. So I kind of feel like Royval should just wait for the next few months to play out. He's probably a fight away. As much of a fan of his that I am, like if we're being honest, he's probably a fight, maybe 2 at most away before he's saying he's in for a title shot. But the whole like I'm gonna be the backup fighter thing, which means title shot, it doesn't work like that.
But to me, like what you just explained is why you go out and you say you're the next guy. Like you don't say you're the backup. You say I'm the number 1 contender. I just knocked him out. I'm next. I'm staking my claim. Yeah. And that way you're out ahead of it and you're already campaigning for yourself to get that shot. And you put in people's mind, okay, yeah, we just saw Royval just had a sick knockout. He's the next challenger. But no, when you say you're the backup, okay, well, maybe he gets lucky and gets the fight. It's not the same thing. I think there's got to be a little bit a shift in your your strategy when you're in that position. Because, like you said, Kai Car France, you know, he's a fight away probably too, and Figgy's always right in the mix. You've got to do something. You did it in the ring. Now do it with your words. You just got to come at it a different direction. But
sure.
but hell of a win, absolutely incredible. Let's get into this. We covered Max versus Allen, the fight. Who's next for Max? Now, I wanted to ask you, are you okay with him fighting the zombie? Because I don't know if there's really any danger there for Max, but it also, he's not going to fight for the title unless Yair wins, and that changes things. So give me your thoughts on him calling out the zombie.
It makes sense for a lot of reasons. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, obviously, you know, the zombie is very old. He isn't what he once was. There's other contenders. But as we've seen, since the second Vault fight, Max fought Calvin Kattar and he fought against Yair, right? So he's shown he will fight anyone. He will fight like the next guy. He lost against Volk the third time. He fought against Untitled Allen, who was easily probably like, if you think about, obviously it goes obviously Volk, Yair, Max. Brian Ortega is injured right now and he's beaten him already. The next available guy was obviously Untitled Allen, so he's beaten him. He'll show he'll fight anyone anywhere. The thing about this upcoming fight between Yair and Volk is, if Volk wins, we know Max isn't going to be next. Yes. Like it's gonna be like a hard, really, really hard sell. If Volk loses, Volk will get Volkanovski. I'm 99% sure he will definitely get like a rematch. He will get a rematch. So if you think about it, it's going to take Max a while to even get a title shot. So for him, he's thinking, okay, what's the fight where obviously we know Max will sell out pay-per-views or fight nights. We know that he's one of the most popular fighters out there. What after fighting, he's shown I'll fight anyone, but let me just have like a more of a fun fight. And he's been called up the zombie for years. Like he's been one of the fight zombie for like a while. And I know this is a bit out there, but this would be perfect to do UFC fight night in Hawaii. Like to have him fighting back at home with obviously a big name with like another legend, a fight night card built around him. That could obviously make like a lot of sense. And what the whole like title pitch is gonna like play like itself out. He can have a fun fight against obviously Zombie. He can maybe might fight against like someone else afterwards, have a win, maybe fight. He's probably 2 or 3 fights away. So I think at the same time. Yeah, so he's probably thinking, let me just keep myself active because he knows if Volk loses twice in a row against obviously against Yair, because obviously Max is beating Yair already, he knows he's next. He knows he's next. So I think he's just trying to keep himself a little bit busy. But I also feel like at some point he's probably gonna have to move up to 155 pounds eventually.
And that's what I wrote down. I wrote zombie question mark, and then if Yair wins, there's a chance. It depends on how if Volk has any crazy damage or anything. Maybe Max could slide in there. Arnold Allen.
Think about this. What about this as a huge long shot? What if Max moves up to 155 and fights Justin Gaethje?
That'd be a lot of fun. That would be you know what? I almost prefer that. Now that you bring it up, I almost think that would be better. And it's no disrespect to Max. Like I've called him a legend. I think he's fantastic. We know we've seen it all. Go to 155 and show us, give us another run to the title at a higher weight class, and your legacy even goes higher. So I think that would be fantastic. I think that's a fight he could get just based off of his career. I'm all in on that. I think that's a fantastic idea. What about Arnold Allen? I wrote down 2 names. I wrote down, we know Ortega's injured. I think that's a good return fight, though, for Ortega when he gets back. and I also wrote Josh Emmett.
I like that fight.
Who else do you think's a possibility? I thought since him and Emmett are 4 and 5, I think that's just a perfect matchup.
I do like that fight. I do have two other names as well. I feel if Holloway Allen wants to obviously come back quick, he fights against Emmett. If he wants to wait, if Volk does beat Yair, I think he should call out. I think he should call him out. He should fight him.
Call out Yair or Volk?
Yeah. Call out Yair. Like if
Okay,
Yair,
okay.
like if he loses, I feel like later on in the year fight him,
Okay.
or if he wants to, which I don't think he'll do, but if he really wants to make a statement, he should fight against Ilya, because we all know Ilya's coming up and he's seen as like the guy that no one wants to fight. If he and if he wants to fight down a little bit and beat him, that's huge. That'll kind of showing, okay, cool. I fought against Max. I came close. I lost, but everyone else below me, I will beat everyone else in my path en route to the title. So, but I do personally agree with you. Josh Emmett does actually make the most sense, and it's a fight that I would actually favor Allen to win as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Ilya would be fireworks for sure. I just think positioning and rankings plays a little bit of a factor, and Emmett is right there, and Emmett needs a fight. And we didn't hear any reports that Allen took like a crazy amount of damage. Yeah, his face got busted up, but you could fight in 4 months, or whatever. I think those two would have a good matchup. So we got those potential fights coming up. Let me ask you about this. JON Jones recently put out that his match with Stipe is potentially a retirement fight. Does that move you at all?
I just don't believe it.
So it doesn't move you. So it doesn't.
Yeah, like I guess it would only move me if obviously after the fight and he said, "Look, I'm basically done." Like then I think then in the moment it would move me. But we all know that like John really know in this like around like obviously like today, like like around this kind of time now, John loves to tweet a lot. John likes to tweet a lot of stuff, and he'll just throw stuff out there. It doesn't move me in that sense. It would only really move me if it actually happened. Because he did also say he wants to retire after getting 20 title wins, and I think he's on like 15 or 16. So we also got that into play as well. So, and we also know with obviously when it obviously comes to JON Jones, whatever he says, you have to take with a little bit of a pinch of salt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't move me. I just don't trust the guy. Like, I don't know. He doesn't garner trust. I do believe though, if Stipe loses, he will retire. I believe it is a retirement fight if Stipe loses for him.
I personally think Stipe retires either way.
Oh, that would be cool though if he beat John for the belt and retired. I don't think he can beat John, but that would be cool.
Yeah, I personally think either way, whether he win, lose, or draw, I think he's done. I think he's done at this point.
Yeah, that was just kind of grabbed a couple of headlines that John tweeted that out. Retirement fight at MSG against Stipe. Yeah, I mean, we just want to see you fight Stipe, dude. We don't need the extra. We just want to see you two fight. Like it's the GOAT versus the GOAT heavyweight. Like you can just sell it off of that. We don't need the retirement stipulation. Enough about JON Jones. We know he's the best. We know, but we know he's an asshole. So let's get to this weekend's UFC Fight Night. The prelims are a little soft. We're going to get right into the main card, but we're going to touch on Usman versus Tafa before we get into the main card. Sell me on how Tafa beats Usman.
This is a classic. Well, Junior Tafa is 4-0 in MMA, all finishes, and he's also fought a bit in Glory Kickboxing as well. So just judging from that, he's clearly has more of a technical more of a technical advantage on the feet, because we both know these guys are just going to stand, right? So, but that being said, that Usman, like as in basically like big Usman, as in Usman Kamaru's bigger brother, he's massive, and he hits hard.
Oh man,
like he hits hard. Like that last fight in the tough final, that punch could put out like a horse. Like he hits hard. So I kind of think it's a case of whoever basically lands first will win the fight.
But I love it, man. There's just something different about two just massive human beings fighting, and this is like a gladiator battle. Like these two are just two dangerous guys, two similar sized dudes. Who gets a clean hit on the head first?
Literally that. It's literally that, bro.
Who are you picking to win this one?
I've got a feeling that probably Junior Taffa could probably just catch him.
Okay.
But then again, I would have been shocked if obviously Usman just literally just charges in and just cleans him out. Either way.
This is tough. I think there needs to be at least one winner in the Usman family, and they already have a loser in Kamar. So,
bro.
So I'm going with Usman against Taffa. I can't wait. That one's gonna be super fun. Into the main card we go. We got Wells versus Smellsberger. How do you feel about that one?
Well, I think Wells is on a 5-fight win streak, and he's looked really good. He's looked really good. Like it's something about like once he managed to obviously like grab a hold of people, like he really, really puts people away. I remember when he fought against Blood Diamond, who's one of Izzy's teammates, just choked him out to sleep. I know that Blood Diamond's a kickboxer and probably doesn't that much good grappling, but he just put him out to sleep. Smellsberger is kind of like hit and miss. Like he's really good sometimes, but then other times he will kind of like fade off a little bit. So I'm gonna go, and even though I think Jeremy Wells is 36 and Smellsberger is 30, I am gonna go for if I'm just going based on form, I'm gonna go for Wells.
Yeah, Wells is 6 years older. He is on that 5-fight win streak, 3 KOs, 2 submissions. He's very dangerous. It just depends what version of Smellsberger are we getting. Because like you said, he is a little bit hit or miss. I've got Wells winning also. I think he gets a hold of him, maybe a rear naked choke and gets him out of there in the second round. I'm gonna take Wells to win also. Next fight, Lucindo versus Walker. This is in the flyweight for the ladies. I'm just gonna kick it off. I got Lucindo getting the win here. Walker has more experience in the actual UFC. Overall, Lucindo has more fights. This one's a hard one for me. Lucinda's not a great striker. She's not accurate, but I don't know. There's something about her being younger. I think she just takes her out.
Yeah,
I think age is a factor here.
And also, I think the last time I checked, Brogan is 1-3 in her last 4, and in her last fight, she did also get she actually got stopped.
Yeah, she got KO'd by Juliana Miller.
Oh, yeah. So I kind of feel like obviously the other girl, Lucinda's obviously 21. She's young. I think the UFC kind of like serving Brogan up for her. So I'd probably thinking probably by around round 3.
Yeah,
it's going to be like well ahead. It's probably just going to be like a very like easy win, personally.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. Next fight, Bobby Green versus Gordon. How you see this one shaking out? These two are two interesting guys. Bobby's coming off I mean, he'll fight anybody. And then Jared's coming off the win against Paddy Pimblett. How do you see these two playing out?
Well, I do feel like Jared Gordon is going to find out that he isn't fighting against Paddy the Baddy, and he's going to fight against someone who basically knows how to move their head and obviously not get hit. And Bobby Green is really hard to hit.
Yeah.
And they personally don't. And he's a really good wrestler as well. He just doesn't like to use wrestling much. He just likes to stand out there and just fight. I do personally feel that obviously Jared Gordon is going to find it really hard when obviously he's throwing, he's missing, and Bobby is just going to tag him. So I probably got Bobby Green winning. I'm probably going to say unanimous decision because Jared Gordon does really get stopped like that. As far as I'm personally aware, at least. And I do agree, he definitely did beat Paddy in that fight, but
I'm gonna take Jared Gordon just because it's gonna piss Paddy off more, and it's purely just being petty at this point. Not surprised if Bobby touches him up. There's no surprise there. Gordon's he's all right. He's nothing great. He's on this. I mean, they're on the main card because they're arguing with Paddy. I'm just gonna take Jordan just for narratives because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And yes, he did beat Paddy, folks. I'm sorry if you think he didn't. That's absurd. Let's get into the next one. Brad Tavares versus Silva. How you seeing this one shake out? These guys are two strikers. We could see a little bit of fireworks here, potentially with a knockout.
I do personally have Brad winning because I just feel like Brad is better. But if the Bruno Silva who fought against Alex Pereira in that fight, because he gave Alex some problems in that fight. I know a lot of people. When you look at the fight, in terms of like who won, Alex won clearly, but Bruno was giving Alex some serious problems in that fight. But obviously, in his last fight, he basically got choked out by Mercer as well. So he's kind of on like a bit. He's obviously on a 2-fight skid. But if he does turn up, this fight could be a fight because we know that Brad's tough. Like, I remember when Brad fought against Izzy and he just got beat up for like 5 rounds. Like, he just got beaten to bits. And in his last fight against Duplessis, it was a close fight and he was toughing in there. So he's really, really hard to put away, So I probably got Brad winning just because I just think he's overall just a little bit better.
Okay. I'm going to go with Brad also. Very similar reasoning. But also, you just like you said, there's not going to be a surprise if Bruno wins. But give me Brad. That's who I'm going to put my money on. I'm excited to watch these guys strike. It should be very fun to see them trading and the counters and the different moves. These guys do have a nice bag of tricks when it comes to the fighting on the feet. Let's get to the reason why we're all here. This is a really, really important fight. This is actually, in my opinion, this is the perfect test for both men. For Sergey, you've got a wrestler, tough wrestler, and for Blades, you've got a knockout artist. We've seen you slip up against Derek Lewis. Can you overcome the power of a machine? So I think we've got a great dynamic right there. It's a great test for both guys, and you got to pass this test to go to the next level, which is probably the title shot. That's just, they're right there. So good test for both guys. Tell me how you think this one shakes out.
So, Sergey Pavlovich, 5-fight win streak, 5 KOs, all in the first round. He just runs through people. Absolute machine.
He's so scary. Like, it's crazy.
Power, straight, high guard, good boxing, just cleans people out until he fights Blades. Because if you have a look in his first fight when he first made his UFC debut and his only loss when he fought against Alistair Overeem, Overeem took him down with ease and just kind of just pounded him out.
Yeah.
and you're fighting against the best wrestler. You'll probably fight. You're fighting against Blades, who that is his bread and butter. Like, he will literally take you down at will, and he will just beat you up. And I know that obviously you mentioned about him losing against the Derek Lewis, when obviously Derek just slept him, just made him like snore. Like we heard him snoring. We heard him snoring, right? And the only other loss he's ever lost against was against Francis Ngannou. So you're telling me a guy who's only lost against the two biggest punches ever? I feel like a lot of people don't realize, as boring as Blades is, he's fucking good. Like, he's fucking good for a reason. I personally think Blades might make it easy. I feel like if he's able to go and obviously take him down, it's going to be an easy night. The only question is, if Sergey catches him and keeps him standing, as much as recently Blades has obviously improved striking, because against Chris Daukaus, he knocked him out, and the fight played out on the feet, and even against Tom, even the fight lasted just for like a few seconds, he was looking good on the feet. He was catching Tom like a little bit. It was giving like issues there. You know, Sergey has to make sure this fight stays on the feet, and he has to catch him early, because if Blaze takes him down and it gets into round 2, 3, 4, and Blaze just brains you, he can find himself in a very, very bad place. And I personally think that Blaze may do it within the second round. I'm saying by ground and pound. I felt like he may literally just pound him out, because I do know against Alistair fight was obviously like a while ago, so we don't know if he's worked on his whole like takedowns that much, but Alistair took him down very easily, and there was nothing that he could do about it. And if that happens now, it won't last long.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I'm actually going to redo my punching power rankings for the heavyweights. Francis is out of the company, and Derek Lewis is behind Sergey now. I'm officially changing the rankings. Yeah, that's how much I believe in his power at this moment. I want Sergey to win. I just want to see this guy make a run. I think it's I remember the first time we saw it, he kind of like left our memory after the Overeem fight, I believe. And I remember we were texting the first time he came back after that fight, and we were talking like, this guy is a mammoth, and
huge.
Yeah, he was fighting Green, and we were talking about it, and he just demolished him, and we were just blown away by it. I was blown away by his power.
It's not the fact that he hits hard; it's the way he hits. Like, it's very straight boxing. Like, it's not as if he's just like swinging. He's throwing clean, straight hits, and people just go down. Like, very, very technical.
In the way he beat up Ty was disrespectful.
Oh, that shit was out of pocket, man. That was. And Ty had no business being in there at all.
Shouldn't even been in the country, but he made a decision. I want Sergey to win. I think this has been a fun run. I want to see him fight for the title. If we got Sergey versus Gon next, that would be crazy. Blades versus the winner of Jones versus Stipe works for me also. I don't care. Either guy wins, I'm good. But I'm gonna put my money on Sergey. I think he catches Blades. Yeah. I wonder, Blades grabs a leg, how hard is he gonna rain down those hammer fists on Blades' head?
He's gonna have to.
I'm excited to see these guys go. I'm ready for that fight. AJ, that's it, man. We covered fight night. We talked Max and Arnold. We touched on JON Jones. Covered quite a bit today, man. Any thoughts before we get out of here?
One last thing. I know that this is like an MMA show, but we are big fans of just combat sports across the board. Big fight in boxing this weekend. Javante Tank Davis is fighting against Ryan Garcia. absolute must watch.
Did you
Absolute must watch.
did you think this was gonna ever happen? Like it felt like for a while it just wasn't gonna work.
I say this all the time in our group chat. I said I'll believe it until I see them both men inside the ring. But it's now happening on Saturday night, I believe. Saturday, Sunday night. But yeah, like this is a huge, like, as fun. Like, I know that we don't cover boxing in general, but considering that boxing doesn't get fights like this often, it's definitely warrants that. Yeah, like this fight is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm assuming you're taking Tank.
Yeah, I'm only going just based on Tank's face better. Tank is faced against better people, but even though Ryan is bigger and longer and quicker, which I think to be very key in this fight, because obviously if Ryan can like overwhelm Tank just by pure like speed, because we know that Ryan can hit hard, he can more than capable of obviously putting him away, but all Tank needs is one shot, man. All he needs is one. And if Tank hits him the same way Luke Campbell did to Ryan, he's going 9-9. But either way, it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah. A lot of hype going into this. You know what's crazy is the first time I saw Ryan was like, I just thought he was like a YouTuber. I didn't, because like he's always on social media. I just thought he was a YouTuber having fun. Come to find out he's a fantastic boxer. Should be an interesting fight. Not surprised. I figured you were taking Tank. I'm going to go the same way. I think Tank puts him down. Should be a good night. We got a lot of fighting this weekend. We will be back next week, guys, to cover all of that and lead into the next event. The MMA world does not so long. Ricky Simone, man, that guy can go. It's going to be interesting.
Listen, Ricky Simone is the dark horse at 135. He's the dark horse.
Folks. You heard it here first. AJ had a play. Hey, it was a great time with you, man. I will talk to you later. Everybody else, HOA out.